Campbell. There we go. You're muted, Kim.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. I'm Kimberly Hartkey, your Senior Director for the LifeWave team, and we are very proud to have a Senior Presidential Director, Jodie Gravely, give us a lesson in following up. Jodie and her husband came in the business like a year after Nancy and I and Carolyn came in. And to see them zoom to the top, both of them independently going senior presidential director has been honestly a very humbling experience. But thankfully, Jodie's a very generous soul and she's agreed to spend her Christmas Eve with us this morning for about 30 minutes or however long she can spare. And I'm just going to turn it over to her. I think, Jodie, just to minimize distraction, I'm going to put it in speaker view so that the
Okay.
focus will just be on you. And please, guys, take notes. Okay, Ramona. Oh, do me a favor. Everybody mute yourself. But Jodie, for some reason, I'm seeing Ramona instead of Jodie on my computer. So I'm going to mute myself as well. But
Yeah.
take notes. We will be recording, or actually, we are recording for people that couldn't make it. But this is an invaluable experience hearing from Jody. Okay,
Okay.
now please mute yourself, honey. Everybody mute yourself.
All right. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be here to share. Hey, Candace. Hey, everyone. I know several of you. I know Judy and Candace, and I see another face on an iPhone I recognize, but and BJ. But anyway, great to be here. Thank you for asking me. It's an honor to share. When I was in a different business, it was the same business I was in with my upline, Alicia Waters enrolled me. If you, or Alicia Osborne now, if you haven't heard her testimony with the patches, I need to send that to Kim so she can send that to you, or it's on my YouTube channel. And she has a bright red sweater on, so that's something you'll want to send to a lot of people. She was enrolled by Laura Balzer, who I've known since probably 2011, at least maybe 2010, who was enrolled by Dr. Stacy, who was enrolled by April Vaughn, who I've also known all of them from our prior business. And none of us were on the same team. Isn't that interesting? Except Dr. Stacy and April. Dr. Stacy was in April's downline, but the rest of us were just crossline. And we used to have meetings together and share tips. And, with that business, um, Stan and I started in April 2010 or March 2010, and we had a little wellness center. And we were able at that time for that business to advertise in the paper and on TV. And people were flocking into our wellness center, and we were putting this crazy wrap on them and having them sit 45 minutes. And then Dr. Stan was going through the brochure about all the supplements, because that's what we were really excited about was their green food powder and the supplements. And then at the end, he would say we were looking for business partners, and he didn't realize this at the time, but they would go, "Oh, no, no, I'd never be interested in that," because they thought they had to know everything he had just shown them. And so we learned after about a year that was a stupid thing to do. So, don't throw up on people when you meet them about this awesome technology, although it is, because less is more, believe me. You just want to pique their interest. Would you be interested in more information? And then use your websites. Don't tell them everything you know about the patch, because that turns people off. But I say that to say during that year, we enrolled 300 customers. And guess what Jody did? Jody did zero follow-up, because I had never done anything like this before. I do remember about 10 years earlier selling a green food powder and doing a vendor event with a girl. And she goes, "Now you got to go home and you got to call all these people." And because it was before Messenger and that type thing. And I'm like, "What? I got to call all these people I met?" Like, I didn't have it in me at the time. I don't know why, but I'm like, oh, I mean, I did do it, but it was drudgery. And then the follow up was just drudgery, because it was all on the telephone. It wasn't texting, and it wasn't Messenger and things that we can use today to make it more simple. But after about a year in that other business, we kept going to meetings and we kept doing this, and finally realized how I had dropped the ball. and not followed up with people. So I was taught at that time to get a file box and to put all my customers in a file box about 5 days before their auto ship, because with that company, you had to have an auto ship. And so I would put it in there about a week before because I was sometimes get behind following up with people. And I did. I followed up with people regularly and asked them if I could help them change their auto ship. And so just like in this business back then, I enrolled everybody, I sent them their information if they wanted it. But if not, I just ordered for them every month because people will order more if they don't have to do anything. If you just message them and say, hey, it looks like maybe you're out of patches. You have a new member upgrade that can get you a big discount. Would you like to redeem that? Or, you definitely want to follow up with your customers, within a week and see if they got their patches and see what questions they have. And then you want to follow up with them about a week later to see how they're doing. Are they getting them on? Have they noticed anything? I tell people don't expect to notice anything, but sometimes they notice something. And occasionally, guys, people start detoxing. Did you know that X39 boosts your glutathione about 20 to 30%? And when stem cells start breaking down old tissue in your body, that can cause you to detox. And a lot of people will just quit patching. And if you're not following up with them about a week to 10 days after they start patching, you may lose customers that way or brand partners, which, we pretty much enroll everybody as a brand partner, just call them a wholesale customer. But, that's just kind of the way we do things. But that's so important because, I've messaged people a week after they start patching. They're like, I was tired and I had a headache and those patches made me sick. And so then that's your opportunity to just say, oh my gosh, that happens occasionally to people. Do you know what that means? That means your body's detoxing. And, to help them through that and encourage them, if they detox, the first week on X39 or X39 Eon, what you've, encouraged them to do, then tell them to slow down. I don't think Eon would make anybody detox, but X39 definitely can. So, I would have a person like that get off. Well, sometimes they've already stopped, but sometimes I message them and they are detoxing and they're like, I just feel really tired. Is that normal? And I'll say, well, it can be. It means your body's getting rid of toxins. Are you able to, push through that? If they can push through that, I just tell them to hydrate more and put a little pinch of Celtic sea salt or something under their tongue so their body's absorbing the water they're drinking, and make sure they're not drinking tap water. But if they feel so bad, I'll say, all right, skip X39 for a day, just use the Eon if that's what they have, and then just start back wearing it 4 hours. And then the next day, put it back on with a Band-Aid or some surgical tape until you get your 12 hours out of it. But let me help you build up. Um, Lynn, we're not going to answer questions till the end, but we will get back with you. So write that down. Don't forget your thought. So it's so important, to follow up, after you get people enrolled, follow up, see if they get their patches. Of course, you can actually see if their patches have been delivered. Do you know how to do that? If you know how to log into their account, because you set up the username and password generically like we do, you can log in and go to their orders and see when it's been delivered. But I don't usually do that. I used to just reach out to them and say, hey, did you get your patches yet? And then say, do you have any questions? And then follow up with them about a week later. But back to the old story, when I used this box, I probably ended up, with 100 people. So every day I would be messaging 3 or 4 people about their upcoming auto ship and can I change it for you, blah, 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 blah. And I tried that when I first got into this business. And it didn't work for me in this business. I was always behind. I was working full time. I didn't know when to put them in the box exactly because it wasn't like they had auto ship set up. So that didn't really work for me in this business. But if you don't have a ton of customers, that might be a good work for you. I just got a 1 through 30 files and a little bitty box and just made an index card, wrote down what people ordered. So it was a good system, but for somehow it just didn't work for me here. And so, Laura, taught me how to use the back office, how to just go to organization and you're personally enrolled every Monday morning. So that's kind of what I do now is I go to my organization, my personally enrolled every Monday morning. And guys, I have hundreds of customers. So sometimes it's Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and Wednesday morning before I get through them all. And I just go down the list and, try to stay in touch with people. If you enroll somebody as a brand partner and they get a couple months worth, they may not need anything the next month. So I just check in to see how they're doing. And if they have certain issues where I think they need more than X39 or Eon, I'll just say, hey, I know we talked about you adding that glutathione, or I know you were patching for sleep. Are you getting better sleep, or should we add that silent night? So, you may be able to keep them active that way, but keeping people active is more for you than it is for them. Because if they're just a customer, they're not worried about staying active. So I don't really mention that to people. And if you're enrolling people regularly, you're always going to maintain manager, because you're putting people right and left. I mean, I never had a problem maintaining manager. And one reason the box didn't work for me is because I was enrolling too many people in the beginning because I was so excited about this. But it is important, to go in that back office and run down. And I don't contact everybody every week. And then I have, honestly, I'm just being upfront with you, probably have enrolled just under me, not Dr. Stan, maybe 200 people. Now they're starting to drop off with this renewal if they don't renew. But I can go down through there and tell you every person that either quit patching because of money or they only gave it 30 days or 60 days and they didn't get a miracle and they wouldn't continue. And it happens. And probably 75% of the people I've enrolled are not active. And that is just the way it is. It's not because I didn't follow up with them, but they wanted a miracle. They didn't get it in 30 or 60 days and they didn't want to continue to spend the money. So it happens, guys. So don't feel like you're a failure when stuff like that happens. But guess what? I still follow up with those people about once a month just to see how they're doing. And how's your mom? If I knew their mom was sick, or what are you doing for Christmas? I just keep in touch with them. I don't want them to feel like they're just money to me or they're just a number. They become my friends. I reached out to somebody that I saw was sick yesterday, and literally, she is not patched in a year. Well, I didn't realize she had ordered patches 3 weeks ago, but I saw she was sick, and I told her I'd be praying for her. And I said, "Girl, we need to get you back patching." And I got up this morning to the awful message from her that I'm just money to you. You don't know how many people have inboxed me since I've been sick about their products. And it took me back a little bit, but I didn't feel really bad because I know my heart. I don't need her order. She's not money to me. She's a friend. And I just want her to be well. And so I just sent her a voice message through Messenger. And I said, "Girl, I'm so sorry you've been bombarded like that, but you need to know my heart's in the right place." Because she said, "I've been patching and I still got sick." Well, I did go in this morning and look, and she only ordered like 2 weeks ago. So she ain't been patching much. You know what I mean? She's just started. And I just said, patching is not, it's not a miracle cure for everything. You've got to do other things. I understand that. And I'm sorry you were offended, but my heart's in the right place. I just want you to be well. And just left it at that. So don't think because we're SPD, we don't get things like that. So anyway, follow up with your customers from now on. Get in that back office, give it if you're working full time, which maybe some of you are not since you're on here, try to go through there every week and just check. And if you do have people that are building the business and you see that little yellow triangle, which means they're active this week, but they're not going to be active next week, you can reach out to them and remind them. I've got a couple builders that have never wanted an auto ship. I personally think if you're building the business, you need to have an auto ship. I don't care if it's one eon if money's an issue, but you don't ever want to lose your volume. And if you go more than 31 days, you're going to lose that accrued volume. So I think everybody should. But I got two girls that still have never wanted to. And for about a year, I reminded them, but now I don't. I mean, they've been in like almost 3 years. And now I don't remind them anymore. If they lose it, they lose it. I reminded them every month for a year, and I'm like, they're big girls, they should have an auto ship. So now I don't remind them. And I have had some people recently lose volume because I didn't remind them, but I'm like, been trying to get them to set up a monthly subscription forever. So anyway, but that's how I follow up. But I think the main thing I want to share with you today, and I'm not going to keep you, is how, how we always say in this business, if you haven't heard it, I'll be surprised, but the fortune is in the follow up. And I really first heard that about a year into my other company when I wasn't doing follow up. And I'm like, oh, wow, no wonder those people aren't ordering anymore. I didn't follow up with them. So the fortunes in the follow up, following up with your customers and answering their questions and keeping them, patching and giving it more than 60 days, if you can. But the real fortune is in the follow up with prospects. When I meet someone, if it's a stranger, I don't know, different things happen. Like the girl that was talking this morning, and she's from Texas.
I'm on a Zoom. Are these all to go in the thing? What? Help
Kim,
me.
if you make
This
me a co-host, I can help you with that
is
too.
this all going out?
Do you know how to do that?
Wait,
Click on
did
the
I
three
start the
little
wash
dots,
right away?
the three little dots up beside my name, and then go down
I
and make
got
me
it.
a host. And I can help you with that. Lynn, can you mute yourself, please?
And if you want me to, I can do it so you can just keep teaching. I'm happy
Okay.
to.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Mhm.
Um, because that's why I didn't want to answer questions either in the beginning because I'm ADD and I forget what I'm talking about.
Sorry, that was an accident. I apologize.
That's okay. It happens. Um, so, when you're meeting people, and Kathy had met these people, and actually her husband was in a park, and her husband is the most shy little man you would ever meet. But he saw a lady loading her car and she looked like she was having difficulty. So he walked over to help her load her groceries in her trunk. And he said, hey, you look like you're having a little struggle. Can I help you? And she said, yeah, sure. And so he helped her. And somehow, I forget the conversation, but he started a little conversation and she told him that she was a nurse. And he just immediately said, oh, if you're a nurse, you know all about stem cells, don't you? And she looked at him. She goes, well, yeah, I do. And he said, you got to talk to my wife. Do you mind if I get your number? And when she told me that, that just shocked me because her husband's about 4'10", shortest little man I've ever seen, and sweet as he can be, and just very shy. And I thought, how cool is that? And I forget how she met these other people, but one lady was it was a presentation they went to. It was a wellness presentation, and there was a doctor or somebody there presenting supplements. And then they saw a lady go up to talk to him, and they heard, I don't know, he kind of brushed her off. And so, Kathy just walked up to her and said something about, did you get your questions answered? And she said, no, I was really trying to ask him about my mom who just had a stroke or who has arthritis or something. And Kathy goes, oh, really? I know something that could probably help your mom. And so she started talking to the lady and ended up getting her number. So, long story short, they drove to three strangers' houses last week and enrolled them with advance packs. So, don't be afraid to be bold because that lady told her when she came to her house, she goes, I've been praying for something like this. You're my angel of mercy, that you've presented this to me. And what if Kathy had just walked out and not, opened that door to help this lady? So be bold, but don't be obnoxious. Don't throw up on people. Kathy didn't start, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe this technology. This is what it does, blah, 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 blah. And I have been guilty even this year doing a vendor event. And when people walk up and want to know how it works, starting into the science of how it works. And I was doing it with Alicia, my enroller. And when people would walk up to her, she didn't start into the science. They'd say, how does this work? She'd say, well, you just put it on and it helps the body repair, rejuvenate, and restore. Would you like to try it? She kept it to 10 seconds, and I was going on 2 minutes about how it works and how, like, the sun hits your skin and causes vitamin D. That's how it works. So, don't throw up on people and say too much, but be bold enough to meet new people, that kind of thing. But when you are talking to people, or say you put something on Facebook and somebody asks a question, for one, and this is a different subject, don't answer people's questions in the chat on Facebook. And just in my personal opinion, don't use the name LifeWave. Don't put X39. Don't put Eon, because then people are going to start Googling those things. Be very vague, but talk about before and afters of somebody, or share somebody's testimony. And if you ever see somebody's testimony and you want to share it, copy it, paste it, and put it into your own words, or change things up, because Facebook will mess up your algorithms. If you share, don't click share. People won't see it. I've noticed that personally. But just tap on the picture, download the picture if you want to use it, copy the text, and go back. Sometimes I'll go into my notes and I'll put the text and I'll edit it there on my phone, and then go back to use it on Facebook. But if you put up a post and it's kind of mysterious, and y'all are welcome to go and scroll down mine. I don't do that, but about once a week. But you can see a few things I posted in the past week or two. And I just keep it vague about my little patches or about this amazing technology. I don't ever say exactly what it is. But then when people comment, what are you talking about? I just answer and say, I'll send you a private message. Because if you answer them in the comments and put the words in there, LifeWave, X39, or how it works, other people seeing that might read that and never ask the question. So don't answer the questions in public, answer it in private. Go to Messenger and say, and this is how I get most of my leads. Go to Messenger and say, hey, I appreciate your comment on my post. Do you have any physical, I don't say ailments, but do you have any physical challenges that you're dealing with? I don't even get into the question they ask. I want to see, why do they need this? And they'll come back and I'll say, well, I found this technology. It's really helped me, blah, blah, blah. Just something simple. Uh, would you be open to more information? I mean, that simple. I usually do send them a voice message and say, hey, I really think this could help you with what they just told me, your arthritis. I've seen amazing testimonies. It helped me reverse my carpal tunnel. Would you be open to me sending you some more information? I don't just start bombarding them with things. And then they usually almost always say, yes, I'd like to learn more. And I'll say, good, check out this website. It's very simple. There's a little short video, some before and after pictures, and there's some testimonies at the bottom. Pick out 2 or 3 of those to listen to, and I'll check back with you tomorrow. Would 5 o'clock or 7:30 be better? And I personally am sending people to whathaveyouheard.com first. That's a website that Peter and Eric came up with about 6 months ago, and it's very simplified. It's not overwhelming with information. And so I send them there, and then set up a time to follow up the next day. And the next day, just follow up, say, hey, did you get a chance to listen to a couple videos? Tell me what questions you have. And if it's somebody that wants more science with the, clinical trials and the patents and all that, then I say, check out startx39now.com. This has a lot more information. Don't get overwhelmed, but check out the videos. There's over 90 clinical trials there and the patents, and I send them there. And try to set up another time to follow up with them. And a lot of times you'll follow up with them and say, hey, did you get a chance to check out the website? No, I haven't got to it yet. That's okay. Just say, no problem. I'll check back with you tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Or you could just ask, hey, I'll give you a day or two to do that. When is a good time for me to follow up with you? And just do that and put them in your calendar. I actually am not a very organized person. So what I immediately do when somebody does that is I go to the notes on my phone, and I have a note called Hot Prospects. And I type their name in there, because I'm telling you, I could talk to somebody and 10 minutes later, I'm doing something else and I forgot who I talked to. I wish people happy birthday through Messenger, and I'll go to Messenger and see where I was talking to somebody and I just totally didn't follow up with them because I forgot. It was in one ear and out the other. That's just kind of how things work with Jodie's brain sometimes, even though I patch with every patch. But I go in my phone and I just write their name in hot prospects. And so sometimes, even when I'm not home, I'll think, oh, I need to follow up with people. And I'll go back through those hot prospects and then I'll, follow up with people. But what I really like to do is put them in my calendar on a certain day. Or I love this type calendar that has the little notes over to the side. And I put everybody in there that I've started talking to. And so then when I'm looking at my calendar of all the meetings and stuff I have, I'll see, oh, there's Mary over there on the right. I really need to follow up with Mary. And sometimes I'll actually put them on an actual day in my calendar. Like Mary owns a business here. She has lupus, I think. And I just met her recently and I gave her a brochure and said, girl, we need to talk about this. And then I've seen her several other times and I said, we still need to talk about what we have that'll help you. She said, yes, yes, after the first of the year, after the first of the year. So, I have her down in January on a specific date to follow up with Mary. And guys, I follow up with prospects that I meet and then I talk to until they say, no, I'm not interested. And I don't offend
My
people.
father thinks this is a great article, so thank him for it.
I don't, I don't bother people. At first I follow up with hot prospects about twice a week for the first week or two, just trying to find a time to follow up with them, find a time we could talk and chat and I can answer their questions. And then I just go to maybe once a week for a couple weeks and then maybe once a month. But I will tell you, people's lives change dramatically for one reason or another every 6 months. So somebody that's not interested today or doesn't message you back, I mean, I get crickets from people, but I don't get nasty messages like leave me alone. Um, just keep following up until they tell you they're not interested or they block you. Don't be obnoxious. What I usually do is I try to think of a different reason to follow up with them all the time. Or sometimes I'll go to my message on Messenger and I'll shoot over to their profile and see what's going on in their life. And the follow up might just be, hey, I saw it was your daughter's 21st birthday. That is so awesome. Well, they know I still want to talk to them about this technology. So sometimes I won't even say anything about the technology. I'll just keep that conversation kind of going. Does that make sense? It's still a follow up. What else was I thinking? I was thinking something about that. Oh, finding a different way to follow up. Like when you get to that monthly thing where they haven't enrolled, but you're still trying to keep connected, go to their timeline, comment on some things, just so you stay on their radar. But one thing I always do is if they said they were interested, but they never enrolled, is I'll follow up and say, hey, how are you doing? Have you given any more thought to giving this technology a try? Or have you given any more thought to trying these patches? I was so excited for you to experience them. So I use that a lot, whether it's written out or whether it's verbal. I'm always saying, I'm so excited for you to try this. Because, I feel like, and I genuinely am, but I feel like it sounds more sincere, like than I'm just wanting a customer or I'm just wanting to sell something. Because that's what I love about LifeWave is that it's not business driven. It's how can I help you driven. So anyway, that's kind of my tips on follow up. I don't know if you guys, if you want to open it to questions, Kimberly, or if y'all have something else you need to do.
Yes, wasn't it Lynn that had the first question?
Yes, Lynn, are you still here? Is Lynn still here? Oh no, I don't see her now.
Oh, darn.
She got off. Well, I'm sure she'll.
Um, well, I just really appreciate everything you said. Look at you guys. I have a whole page of notes. I'm having to write in the margins now. Because this is one of those things that really bugs me when I go into my back office, Jody, and I see all those X's instead of the nice green check marks. And
Yep.
I'm thinking this is evidence that my follow-up skills have been missing in action. So I
Well,
really like the
let me
fact
tell
that
you, girl. I
Yeah.
got great follow-up skills and I still have tons of X's because it's like I
Okay.
said, you can't make people give it enough time. Like I had a guy that enrolled from a vendor thing last year because his wife had migraines. So he enrolled for his wife. About 3 months later, I've been following up, talking to them, blah, 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 blah. He decided to try it for a heart condition he was told he had. And he's pretty young, like maybe mid 40s. So he patches for about 3 months and he says, I don't feel anything. Nothing's different. I'm not doing this anymore. And I said, Jay, have you been to the doctor? Have you gotten any blood work? Crickets. Would not answer me. I waited another week or two and I'll say, I understand you haven't felt anything, but usually the true marker is when people go get their blood work. They're shocked because they didn't feel any different, but their cholesterol's down or, their numbers are better. Have you done your blood work? Nothing. Never would even answer me. So, that wasn't my not following up. It was him not giving enough time and probably not getting his blood work done. I don't know. But you can't save everybody, only the people that are teachable and will let you help them. So yeah.
Nancy,
Hey,
unmute.
Nancy.
Ah, hey Jody, I was just sitting here thinking, since you're so closely connected with Dr. Stacy, and we all have this issue with people not knowing they need to wear it long enough. I use her Tuesday Zoom as a follow-up, just to help people get a deeper dive, especially if
Yeah.
I've been exhibiting and I've got like this much time to chat with people. Could
Yes.
we get testimonials of people who do have these remarkable stories of they waited the 7, the 8, the 9 months to get their miracle, and have her do one of her Tuesday night podcasts on the
Ooh, that's a good
importance
idea.
of
I, I,
waiting.
I actually have a Zoom with her at 2 o'clock
Oh,
today.
good. Well,
I will pick
I'm
that
just sitting here
book.
thinking she's such a tool that I love to leverage. She's so brilliant,
And
and
she's always
everyone watches her.
looking for things to make Tuesday night a little
Yeah,
different.
I mean, I'm thinking of Bob Campbell right off the top of my head.
Oh,
Um,
well, and Brian, not Brian. Who's Catherine Engstrom's husband? Uh, might be Brian.
Mr. Engstrom.
Mr. Engstrom, yes. They didn't get results for months. And they were patching her mother or his mother, one of their mothers, who was using a walker. 3 months in, none of them had any results.
Mark
And
is
then
her husband.
Mark, yes, thank you. Mark, Candace. And all of a sudden, 3 months in, 4 months in, grandma walks down to the dock and gives them a call and says, Hey, what are y'all doing? Or something. And they're like, Where are you? She goes, I'm down at the dock. They're like, How did you get down to the dock? Like they knew she couldn't have went down with a walker. And she had walked down there for the first time in 2 or 3 years without her walker. And so that's a great story.
Love
Another
it.
too is I know you guys do, but listening to Monday and Thursday nights and even listening to the replays if you don't get on. Um, oh, somebody I was thinking that was on you guys' team. Audrey. Y'all know Audrey?
Oh,
Yes.
sure.
She didn't get any results for like 8 months.
You talking about me, Jody?
Where are you? There you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, until Stacy does that, hey, sweetheart, until Stacy does that, you could just pick a Zoom here or there to send people. That's a great idea, though, Nancy. I'm gonna ask her. Oh,
Thank
story.
you. It'd be such a blessing to so many people to.
Well,
She
so I
she
know of Mark and Audrey. So if you guys know of other people, send me that. Send me their names, and
we could
I'll
we
see if
could call
Stacy.
it long haul patchers instead of
Yes,
long
yes,
haul COVID.
yes,
Ramona has a question.
yes.
Mr. Bill Chaplin in Baltimore, he had some results right away, but then in the summer he had some incredible results with his insulin.
Yes.
Um, Huge came off of many of his medications, so he'd be another one.
Bill.
Woo!
Yes. Awesome. Yep. That's a great idea, Nancy. Let's compile some names and I'll throw that in her ear today. And I think she'll like that.
Thank you,
Great.
Jody. Ramona, go ahead, hon.
Yes.
I was listening to Dr. Stacy lately and recently, and also to Jen O'Sullivan, Dr. Jen O'Sullivan, and they were both talking about making sure that you have electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and hydration. And then and both of them mentioned glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper. And they were both saying that the 4% that don't have results are lacking in one of those elements. And I wondered, rather than referring people to those Zoom calls or those videos and telling them to fast forward to certain place, if Dr. Stacy could maybe do a Zoom that or a podcast that talks specifically about
The
those
4%.
elements, so that because I'm thinking even people who it's taking longer or whatever, it could be that they're just lacking in one of those. And I've kind of wondered if I've sort of plateaued a little bit, and I'm wondering if it's because I'm lacking in one of those things. And I just thought, just hearing them both bring that up within the same week, I felt like that the Lord was bringing that to my attention, that that's something that could really help us when we're talking to people who are discouraged, and
Absolutely.
encourage them to. And I'd like to do a little more deep dive about how Dr. Janice Sullivan talked about different supplements and stuff, but I'd like to kind of know how we get those elements in our diets or in supplements if that's something that we're lacking.
Well, the first
So
thing with
thank you.
magnesium, the minerals, and all that kind of stuff, you can honestly get most of that from taking a pinch of Celtic sea salt or a pinch of Himalayan sea salt, putting it under your tongue when you drink your water. And I go back to Laura Balzer all the time. When Laura was reversing her breast cancer naturally, she was drinking tons of water. And when she'd go to her doctor, she was showing up dehydrated. And he told her to start doing that because your body needs minerals to absorb water. And once she started doing that, Celtic sea salt and Himalayan sea salt are bound with about 70 something minerals, just trace amounts of the minerals, but very important. So, that's one way. I don't know as far as the histamines and stuff, but I think the neat thing is that when our powders come out in January, at least the day powder, it's going to have a lot of that stuff because David has in the past said, you really should supplement with this, this, and this, and this to get better results with the patches. And we were all going to Amazon and ordering all these supplements. And now he has them all in the powders. So let's just pray that powder comes out in January. I'm pretty sure it's going to.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
really excited
that was
about
supposed to
that.
come out. It was supposed to come out last January or February. So there's just lots of hoops for them to jump through, but hopefully it will.
Good, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Judy.
Yes, Jody, thank you so much. There have been so many great ideas you've given us this morning. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
But I want to ask one question that I always mean to ask Dr. Stacy or somebody. How often do you put Celtic sea salt crystals every time you drink your water? One time a day? What do you do?
I would probably do it 2 or 3 times a day. And, Dr. Jeremy Stan's been doing a practitioner's call first and third Thursdays with Dr. Jeremy Reister and Dr. Tim Tagg and Dr. Don. And Jeremy recently read this, and I think it's a great tip. And I had been trying to do this myself because I hate drinking water. Is to just drink 3 or 4 ounces of water every 30 minutes. Your body absorbs
Okay.
it much better than guzzling 16 ounces every hour or, that type thing. But I would just, 2 or 3
Two.
times. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion. I don't know what Dr. Stacy was.
Right. Right. Well, and let me tell you, I'm one of the people that it took about 7 months of patching, but I didn't have to have rotator cuff surgery.
Awesome.
And I got over long haul COVID symptoms and depression. So I'm one of the ones who
All
had
right.
to hang in there.
I'm making my list.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you for your expertise. We appreciate it.
So welcome. All right,
Carolyn.
unmute yourself, beautiful. You're not going to let us see your face today.
Hey, good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning.
I'm It's not busy, but I'm toggling my full-time job. So I thought, let me go, I don't like to be distractible. Jody, I always love, you always keep it very real. That's what I love about you. You're very, um, I think I did also take a lot of notes, and I love the way that you help alleviate any of our fears when we see those red X's in our back office, because honestly, that used to get me down a lot. And I used to take it very personally when people that, I love people, my, family, friends, and they just decided they just didn't want to patch anymore. And I used to think, gosh, what could I have done or said differently? And so I think my life lesson has always been it's not about me. The timing is always, they will probably come back around. And that's also come true where, being in this business long enough now that I can say some people will come back and some people won't, and to be okay with that. But I actually want to take you back to more business building. You have a lot of powerhouse business builders on your team, and they just knew it right away. Like they were ready to hit the ground running. They had that background. You knew it. From other businesses. But for those who may not see the vision right away, they come on board and you help them, enroll some people. It could be that they're just family members or friends. And so I wanted to know, how do you help them that they don't quite see the vision right away? You see it for them, but how do you get them organized? Like for me, I have two notebooks because I'm a visual, old fashioned, have to hit my right leg, my left leg. They're in two different notebooks. I put notes, and I even have my sections for those that I enrolled people under people that it's their people, but I enrolled them for them because I knew they weren't ready to put
Right.
they call them their notebooks that they don't know that. But
Yep.
that's me. I mean, that's how I have to do to keep my organization. So how do you help them for what I'm just going to say the potential of down the road? Like, are you organizing them in your fashion, or you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not that organized, and I have dropped the ball a lot there. Um, when I help somebody enroll people, I just kind of keep their name down and I log in, go to their back office. That's how I do follow up. I help them do follow up by logging into their back office to their personally enrolled and going down through there. Sometimes I'll screenshot it and I'll send it to them. Have you talked to these people lately? How are they doing with their patches? And usually if I've helped them enroll, the people know me and I'll say, who do you want me to follow up with? But I'm not, I think you must be green or C, Carolyn, and I'm a blue, yellow, just disorganized.
No. I'm actually more like you. Trust me.
Are you? Well,
I'm very ADHD like you too. So
I have started a notebook so many times with these people that I help enroll people, and then I don't add stuff to it, and it just gets lost, and I'm like, oh, I dropped the ball again. I kind of have a different view than Dr. Stacy and Laura, I think, on helping people get people enrolled because they're like, oh, just help them enroll 4 people, it pays for their patches. Well, if they're not interested in building a business, who's going to follow up with those people? I can barely keep up with my own back office. Like I can't follow up with everybody's people. Most of the people that I do that for are either in their 80s or they're practitioners and they're real busy. And I do try to help them do that. But what I do is when I ask people, do you have people you love? Who are 4 people you love? Came back from Punta Cana with that, or maybe from conference with somebody that says that's just what I tell people when they're getting good results. I say, who are 4 people you love that we could help with this? And so you do want to reach down and do that to people, even if you don't think they're business builders. And so if they agree to make a list and talk with you, go down through that list and, say, let me talk to you about them. Let's see what's going on with them, how we could help them. Let's get them on a Zoom, so that we can reach out to them or however they want to do it. But I ask people, this is where I'm different. I say, are you interested in making money to pay for your patches? Or are you interested in sharing this with people in the future? And will you follow up with these people? Will you take care of them? They're going to become your customers if you want to do this. And if they say, I don't want to build a business, I just want to let them know about it, I offer a referral fee. And I'll say,
Love it.
I can put them under you. I can help you get them enrolled, but I need you to follow up with them because I only have so many hours in a day. And if they say, oh, I don't want, no, I don't want to do that. Let's just tell them about it. I'll say, okay, I'll give you a referral fee if that's okay. And I put it in their ballpark. I've just quit building people to manager for manager's sake. I've got people working the business that stay manager on both sides. So that's not an issue for me. And it may be for you, and you do want to help somebody, and you do want to help follow up with the people you enrolled. And if you're organized enough to do that, I think that's great. And I always offer them the option. If they send me somebody, I'm not going to enroll them without asking them, do you want to enroll them, or would you want to just get a referral fee? I'll give you a referral fee. And what I do is a week's worth of X39 or a $25 Amazon gift card or $25 cash, basically, for a core pack. And then I may do a little more if they end up sending me somebody that enrolls with an advanced pack. Or if you got patches in stock, you could send them a week or 2 weeks of this or that. A week's worth of X39 is about the same as a $25 gift card. But I know I didn't really answer your question that much.
No, actually, you did. That's really, honestly, that's very practical, and it's I loved. Honestly, I've not actually been bold enough to just set it straight from the get-go, and then you get their honest feedback. It may change later, but I also love your referral fee idea. I have not done that, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
love it.
We have a couple of other questions. Brenda Fleming has a question. Hi, Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
Hi, Jodie. Thank you. And Kimberly, thank you so much. And Jodie, I just love the way you follow up with people. And I think you're more organized than I am.
I am I'm disorganized, organized, I guess. Somebody said it different the other day. It was better. I forgot. I don't know. I'm ADD organized, or I don't know. I'm a little organized.
Well, thank you. This has been very valuable. And I just wanted to ask the supplements again. You said were lysine, copper, NAC, and I love, that you mentioned the Celtic sea salt. And I just wanted to ask, is there another supplement?
Somebody else did that. It wasn't me. Was it Nancy? Was that you? Somebody else said these are the supplements.
It's Ramona.
Yeah,
It
Ramona.
was
Yeah.
real. Yeah, and I got those from Dr. Stacy and Dr. Jen O'Sullivan. They were glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper. And
What
then
was
she
the
said
second one? Glycine and what else?
histidine, histadine,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
lysine, lysine, copper. And then she said electrolytes were really important. And I know Jan Rogers knows a lot about that. And then she said magnesium, potassium, sodium, and then obviously hydration.
Okay, great.
She
Thank you.
said those are amino acids. So I'm like Jodie was saying, I'm really hopeful that the supplements that David's bringing out will take care of all of those things for us.
And you guys,
I
you
know.
can see what's in those. Just go to the homepage at lifewave.com and click on the new supplements. You can see the ingredients. It's going to be
Well,
awesome.
thank you. I know when my doctor did my blood work, she said I was lacking in lysine and copper. I had been taking NAC because David Schmidt had told me to supplement with that when I met him in Sarasota a couple years ago because of the fibromyalgia I
Yeah.
experienced.
And
So,
Dr. Stacy says you can get that with one little square of dark chocolate a day. But
and yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to comment that after using the patches for 7 months, that my fully torn rotator cuff has healed completely. And I'm in no more pain. I have full range of motion. And I went back to my orthopedic surgeon, and he just wouldn't believe me. I
wow.
said, well, you don't have to believe me, but I know these patches work, and I'm living testimony that they do work.
Well, if any of you guys have ever heard my sponsor Alicia's cancer testimony, Her oncologist don't even know what she's doing. But he knows she's supposed to be dead right now. She only had a 5 to 8 year life expectancy. She started patching in year 7, and he has released her now. And
Oh, bless her heart.
downgraded her from stage 4 to stage 3. He said, "You're better every time you come. There's no use in you coming back. I don't know what you're doing. Don't tell me what you're doing, but just keep doing it." So,
Wow.
you can't make them listen.
No, you can't. Hey,
No.
Barb has a question.
Okay.
Good morning, Miss Jody.
Good
Thank you
morning.
so much for this great call. Quick question in terms of our reds in our back office, which no one likes to see.
Right.
What about the maintenance pack 3 or 6 months? So then we're not having to deal with the monthly, which many people don't, because you have monthly tax, you have monthly shipping, and you get all of your product up front one time. And I've found that to be a better substitute than even talking so much about the auto anymore. What are your thoughts?
I love that. And so after I lead people through the upgrades, which I feel obligated to do because they're such a good deal. I mean, you guys realize now if you enroll a core pack for $240, they can upgrade to the advanced pack and get 3X39.
Mm-hmm,
That's bringing X39 down to about $80 a pack less.
mm-hmm,
So I feel obligated to do that. But then a lot of times people don't want to upgrade that next one because you're talking about $1,200. So then I'll just say, hey, when you're ready for patches again, I'm gonna help you get a big discount. And I always offer them the 269 because not that many people want to spend 6 or 7, $800. Although recently I was following up with a guy that I met at a vendor event. He had been in a bicycle crash, like he was a cycler, but he's my age, like he's in his 60s. He is a cycler, and they had had a mass wreck, and they had all piled on top of him, and he hadn't been able to cycle in a couple years. So he's gotten great results with the patches. He got his wife on them. So they upgraded, from gold to platinum to the blah, blah. So then recently, when I told him how much it would be for them to order 4 months, I think, of X39 and Eon, he goes, "Well, I guess I'm going to have to stop this. It's getting too expensive." And I said, "Well, if you can't afford to do both of them, at least don't stop X39. Let me see what I can find for you." And I presented him with the maintenance pack that's $5.99 and you get 7. And I
mm-hmm,
presented him with the one that is $7.50, but you get 9, which is even better deal.
mm-hmm,
And he jumped on that one.
mm-hmm,
He jumped on that one. And now he's just doing X39, but it's been a year and a half and he's feeling great. And
mm-hmm.
it kept him for 6 months. But the majority of people, if it's just them, they don't want to spend that much money. So I'll say, if you buy 3 X39, I can get them for you for $90 a pack instead of $100. And they jump all over it. Because I had somebody the other day said, "I need 2 X39, 2 Eon." I said, "Great. That'll be $320. Or if you want to buy 3 of each, I can get you a big discount." And then I figured out what 3 was. So it's 269 plus 150. And there's not a maintenance pack for less than 350 for the supporting patches. But still, if they do 3, they get the same price. They just don't get the trickle volume. So for a lot of people recently, I've done the 269 maintenance pack where they get the X39 down to $90. And then at the end, we just tack on 3 supporting patches. So they get them for $50 each. So I get a lot of volume then with the supporting patches and then the trickle volume for the next 2 months. But that is a great idea, Barb. We all need to be suggesting maintenance packs to people after they've finished their upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Good question. Now, if anybody wants to ask a question and you don't know how to raise your hand, go to the middle of your screen down at the bottom where it says react. If you click on that up arrow or click on the little heart, you should see raise hand at the bottom of the menu. We have just a few more minutes, 4 more minutes to be exact. If there's any other questions. Jodie gave us a lot more time than she intended, and we really do appreciate you spending a whole hour with us, Jodie.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. My pleasure.
Ah,
And Ramona did just put those things in the chat if you guys want to grab
okay,
those,
great.
copy those. Yes.
That's great. Well, you're helping us get off to a great start in the new year, this follow-up discussion. I hope we'll continue this next week. I'd even like to suggest if Carolyn could focus, she's the follow-up queen as far as I know on our team. So Carolyn might want to be our guest speaker next week and do her follow-up techniques to just add to what Jodie said. And let's all get in this follow-up mindset because really, truly, the fortune is in the follow-up. And if we can get people to stick with this program for life, there's a lot of benefits, not only to their health, but to our wealth. Okay. So,
And
but I love,
you can
yeah,
go to all those little X's you have in your back office and message those people in the next week or two and just say, hey, we haven't talked lately, or I know you haven't patched in a long time, but I was just wondering if you have any health goals for 2025. I would love to help you meet those, whether it has anything to do with patching or not. So
right,
they're going to do better if they're on the patches, but when you say whether it has anything to do with patches or not, I would like to help you. That takes the stress off of them. That makes them feel like you're not trying to make money.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when follow up kind of drops and people are crickets, you know, I'll say, hey, we hadn't talked in a while. I'd love to know how you're doing, patches aside.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
try to keep that conversation going, be their friend. There's going to be plenty of people doing New Year's health things, seminars, things like that. You could invite people to help them aside from patching, but you're continuing to, keep that bond and that friendship.
well, that's so true because as we've gone down the road of this business, we've collected a lot of resources. We had several health coaches at our event yesterday in one room. We had a personal trainer there. We're meeting other resources that we can give to people, so we can be sort of uh, command central for wellness in our immediate sphere of influence and with our
And
prospects.
when you're in an area like that, and Dr. Stan's getting ready to open up a little wellness office here in Shelby, North Carolina, and we were walking around town and seeing people that do different modalities. And Alicia's like, you got to go meet those people, and it would just be a good networking. Like, have you heard of this? I would love to give you some information and samples. So maybe you could refer people our way, and then we'll refer people your way. And don't be in competition with people, just let everybody be helping everybody. And so if you're giving them this information, they're probably going to read it and they might be interested themselves, especially if you offer to, hey, let me bring you a few samples. Don't know that you'd feel anything, but I'd love to share a few samples with you. But if you're going to meetings like that, Kimberly, that's a great idea. Like, hey, what's your business card? Here's mine. If you know anybody with chronic pain, that's my specialty, or
That's
whatever.
right. And
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of the obnoxiousness out of it when you're not trying to make them into your business partner right away. But you
Yeah.
say, I would love to serve as a referral, as somebody that can refer business to you and you can refer business to me and we can grow together. And then if they decide to get in the business and offer it at their wellness center, so much the better. But if
Yeah.
we don't start the conversation with, hey, I want to recruit you to LifeWave, I want you to be a distributor too, I think it helps people relax and accept the information. So thanks for that idea, Jodie.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm going to pause the recording or stop the recording and